to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson. And my goodness, what a weekend of NFL football, of playoff football, of conference championship football, and just a couple of news notes that we have to get to while I'm here, especially on the Browns coaching search front. But we'll get to that later. But right now, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you being here. The subscriber count is steadily just growing and growing and growing and growing and getting better. Views are going up. Everything's going well. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you supporting. So if you haven't already, if you happen to be watching, just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bio or hit the description, go subscribe on Spotify, listen on, whatever your preference is, Spotify, YouTube, whichever one is easiest for you. I appreciate them both either way. But now it's time to talk about the football. And we had two close games, two pretty good. One was pretty good. The other was excellent football games on Sunday, and let's just get into it. To recap my betting, I went 1-1. The Broncos covered. They covered the 4.5. Rams did not. Rams didn't cover. They lost. Lost by 4. So it is what it is. We were. I don't feel bad about either outcome because I feel like the analysis was spot on for both the games, even if the end outcomes weren't correct. Like New England, Denver, I thought it would be close. I thought, the Broncos defense would be able to keep them in the game. Didn't know what Jarrett Stidham would be able to do, but the first drive when there was no precipitation, no weather system coming through, was pretty good. Was able to make some plays, make some throws, threw a touchdown, led him down the field a couple of times. But we'll get into that more specifically in a bit. And on the other side, the Patriots couldn't score. That Denver defense did its thing. New England took advantage of getting the points when they were able to get them, and 10 points was all they needed. So I feel like I was close there. I mean, the bet hit, so that that one was a good choice. In the other game, I said I came out. I said I will respect Sam Darnold for who he is. I owed it to him to not think that he would melt down, and he definitely didn't. Probably played the best game that he's ever played. That game was close. It could have gone either way. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later, but let's just dive in specifically to that first game. New England 10, Denver Broncos 7, and Denver could have had it. Denver could have had it, and all the talk coming out of that game, well, a lot of the talk on the internet is about Drake May, but in a positive fashion, Drake May, which I don't think should be the case. This was a team victory. Yes, Drake May is the quarterback of the winning team, but that does not make him the reason that they won this game. They won this game because of their defense and because of their ability to take advantage of their opportunities. They got 2 opportunities to get points, and they got them. They drove down in the second half and were able to get a field goal before the snow made everything impossible. And before that, they recovered a Jarrett Stidham fumble backwards pass. They were able to score. I mean, they scored on that play. It shouldn't have been blown dead, but they eventually got the ball, Drake May ran it in for a touchdown. They capitalized on that, and that was all they needed. They punted every other time. It feels like they punted every other time. They missed a field goal, but the 10 points was enough to get it done. But like I said before, New England, they started this game off with 3 punts. They got the ball 3 times, started with 3 punts. And after that third punt is when Denver got the ball. They had already scored. It was 7-0 at the time. And this is the drive that the infamous 4th and 1 happened on. And going back, watching the game earlier today, they should have kicked that field goal. And this isn't even a hindsight thing. In the moment, you got to realize, even if you don't know that the snow is coming, which you should know, by the way, but even if you don't know the snow is coming, you know what your defense has done on the other side, and you know that you have a backup quarterback. You have a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game at home. The crowd is your friend. Just take the points and see how it goes. You know, if it was Bo Nix, if you had Bo Nix out there, a quarterback, by all means, go ahead, go for it on 4th and 1, put it in his hands. I'm always an advocate of, if you're gonna go for it on 4th down, put the ball in your best player's hands, and if that's your quarterback, keep it in his hands. Give him an option to run, give him an option to throw. Just make the defense guard multiple plays. And if it was Bo Nix, go ahead and go for it. Would have no problem with the outcome there. But you don't have him. You have Jarrett Stidham, and maybe he makes the play, but the play call was, I don't know if the play call was bad. I don't know if they ran it wrong, but whatever they called in the huddle and whatever they ran was not executed. It was blown up from the beginning. There was virtually no chance for this play to be successful, and it seemingly cost them the game. Now, I mean, I guess you can't really say that it cost them the game, but it really affected this game in a huge way, because say they get the 10 points, who knows what New England does on the other side. If you're up 10, maybe Jarrett Stidham doesn't feel the pressure, doesn't feel the need to make a play to try to throw a ball on 3rd down and throw it backwards, and New England gets it and scores. Who knows what could have transpired after that, but you're going to want that back. And I think Sean Payton has said as much, that he probably wants that, if not that decision to go for it back, at the very least that play call back. But like I said, the defense was shutting the Patriots down, and they got the only touchdown of the game off of a Jarrett Stidham turnover. It is what it is. He is a backup quarterback for a reason. And I can't, even though he did that, and then later at the end of the game, he threw up a bacon, egg, and cheese on wheat up to the Patriots defender at the end of the game to seal the deal. You can't really put too much blame on a backup quarterback, because you go into the game, you know he's going to be playing. You can really only do so much. So I can't put a lot of stock into blaming Jarrett Stidham. Yes, the turnovers were bad, but I mean, honestly, what can you do? They kept it. They did everything that you would want to have if you're in that situation. You kept it close, and you had a chance to take the lead or tie it at the end. And that's really against a team like New England, who has a top 2 MVP candidate on their team on the other side. That's really is as much as you could possibly ask for in that situation. But they weren't able to take advantage of New England's offense not really doing anything. But shout out to the Broncos, shout out to the Patriots. Patriots, no matter what we say, no matter what the schedule was, no matter what the offensive output on the other side was, no matter what Drake May's statistics are in the playoffs, they're going to the Super Bowl. They won the AFC Championship. They're the representative for the AFC, and they've earned it. No matter how it looks, you will take it. A win is a win is a win is a win in the NFL playoffs, no matter how you get it. So congrats to them. I do know one thing: if they want to beat the Seahawks, they are going to have to play better on offense. Drake May is going to have to, by far, play his best game of the playoffs in order for them to even have a chance against the Seahawks. That Seahawks defense, and on the other side, that Seahawks offense. They're going to have to keep up. But that is 2 weeks from now. We will talk a whole lot about what's going to happen in that game during Super Bowl week, and we'll go in depth. We'll analyze it. We'll have some guests on to talk about it. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But next up, put a pin in that game. The next game and the second game, NFC Championship, we had the Los Angeles Rams 27, the Seattle Seahawks 31. And there's a whole lot to say about this game. There's a whole lot to say about this game, and like I don't know where to start, but my heart wants me to start here. This game that we watched on Sunday night, Rams and Seahawks, this is the type of game that makes you want to play football. Like if you have played football at any level ever in your life, this is the type of game that you sign up to play. These are the types of games that you want to be involved in. Close throughout, big plays on both sides, excitement. Every down matters. Every first down matters. Every touchdown matters. Every turnover, almost turnover, dropped interception, penalty. Every single thing in this football game. Excuse me. Every single thing in this football game mattered. And again, this is the type of game that you want to participate in. This was so much fun to watch. These were two, frankly, feels like the two best teams in the NFL operating at their highest levels. And I know you can say it's 31 and 27 points. The defenses weren't doing their jobs. They could have made some stops and whatever. But these teams were operating at their highest levels on offense, and I'm incredibly impressed, and I respect the hell out of what not only Matthew Stafford was able to do in this football game. Boy, oh boy, do I respect what Sam Darnold was able to do in this football game. That was by far the best football game that I've ever seen him play personally. And it has to be, given the stakes, easily the most important football game that he's ever played. This football game will be the reason Sam Darnold stays an NFL starter for, as long as he can continue throwing the football, because he's stamped himself on Sunday, because out of all the things, when you look at Seattle's team, what was the thing that you could look at and say, maybe if that doesn't get going, they'll be in trouble? And it was the quarterback. It was Sam Darnold. If he had another game, if he had another first half performance like he did the second time that the Seahawks played the Rams, the way Stafford was going on the other side, this is not a close football game. The Rams do not lose that game. But from start to finish, Darnold was on point, on task, with an oblique injury, getting hit in the pocket with pressure bearing down on him in the pocket. He was able to be on target, and some of the throws that he made were to wide open receivers. But when you're under pressure like that, literal pressure from defenders and the pressure from being in the championship game, your season is on the line. You go to the Super Bowl if you win this game. With both of those internal and external pressures bearing down on him, even if they are wide open, those you still got to make the throws, because you're damn right I would be on here making fun of Sam Darnold if he missed those wide open guys. I damn sure would be. So I have to come on here and give him credit for making the throws while being injured. I think his oblique injury is a significant injury, but he's tough enough. He's shown that he's tough enough to play through it. And I respect the hell out of that. Look, would I want him, if I'm drafting quarterbacks and I have a list of everybody in the league to pick from, how long am I going until I pick Sam Darnold? Still quite a few, but he's not at the bottom of the top 32 like I thought he was going into the season. So I have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge him as a real a very good starting quarterback in this league. He has proven it. He has done it. And this wasn't like last week when they played the 49ers and he just did enough to get by. He was more of a bystander in that win because everything else was working so well. They needed him. They needed him to perform on Sunday. They needed him for every single one of those 31 points that they got. And he stepped up. He stepped up to the plate and he performed. And once again, I have to respect it. I have to respect Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. He was in his bag. He had Jackson Smith and Jigba lined up all over the field, literally at every single wide receiver spot, even in the backfield. He was in his bag, getting JSN open looks, and until further notice, Jackson Smith and Jigba is the best receiver in the world. I was hesitant about it. I was quicker to want to say that about Puka Nacua. But the proof is on film. The proof is right in front of our eyes. Jackson Smith and Jigba is leading this offense into the Super Bowl Like, I know Sam Darnold is the quarterback and he played extremely well, but if you see a Super Bowl graphic, it needs to have it's gonna have Drake May on the Patriots side. The Seahawks side needs to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's just how it has to read because he was unguardable. Like, forget the scheming him open that Clint Kubiak was doing. When he was covered, when there were guys on him man to man, he cooked up. He cooked up. He had defensive backs going every which way. And in the National Football League, the way he's getting open is not regular. Um, so I mean, like, tough luck to Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. On the other side of this, Puka Nacua, like that guy, uh, Jackson Smith and Jigba is the best receiver in the world. There's at this moment in time, there's no debate because on the biggest stage so far that he's been to, he absolutely crushed it. He absolutely annihilated the Rams' defensive backfield, and it it was not from incompetence on the Rams' part at all. It like that you just tip your cap, and that's one of the greats, and you just say that's one of the greats. On the other side, you did what you could do, truly, but he just showed up and showed out. And this game that they played was so great because all in all, there's not really one person that you can put the blame on for winning or losing this game. Both of these teams came to play. And the Rams got the football and they couldn't convert. They couldn't convert on their third and fourth downs enough to be able to pull this game out. Maybe you can look at Xavier Smith muffing the punt, and you can blame Sean McVay for his special teams being bad all season. You can do that, but the fact of the matter is, even with the muff punt, the Rams still had a chance. They still had a shot, but they just couldn't finish it. So I don't want to put the whole thing on Xavier Smith. I know people out there are going to. I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm just going to take the approach that this was an amazing football game. I love to watch it. Again, both teams operating at peak performance. And speaking of operating at peak performance, I cannot move on without shouting out Nick Eamon-Wari. That dude was the best player on the field when the Seahawks defense was on the field and the Rams offense was on the field. The Rams probably have the MVP. Puka Nacua is top 2 in receiver, like in the NFL. And everybody that the Seahawks have, everybody that the Rams have, Nick Eamon-Wari played like he was the best player on the field when his unit was on the field. He was everywhere. He was in coverage, locking down, making plays, making deflections. He was absolutely awesome. Even on the sideline, holding his teammates accountable, even though he's a rookie. He's special. He's special. And I think he went 39th overall in the draft. That was too low. And a lot of people felt like that was too low at the time. He plays safety, which isn't a premium position. I don't like I do not buy into the premium positions as much as other people do. If they're a really good football player, I want them on my team. Um, like he would be defensive rookie of the year if it wasn't for Carson Schwetzinger, which was another guy that doesn't play a premium position at off ball linebacker. But he's going to be a perennial all pro on my football team. So I really, you can miss me with the premium position talk. Mason Graham doesn't play a premium position. We got him, which enabled Myles Garrett, who is at a premium position, to break the sack record. He doesn't do that without help from the guys inside. So, be that as it may, again, Nick Enan-Wari, shout out to him. Unbelievable game, unbelievable performance. Can't wait to see if he can top it in the Super Bowl. The Patriots do not have the two guys at receiver that the Rams do. So I'm very excited to see what he can do, where Mike McDonald puts him, what kind of spots they put him in. I'm really excited to see what that looks like. But again, that's 2 weeks away. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. But that's a little bit into the future. But as of right now, we have a little news. We have a little news to talk about. And the first news, and two pieces of news, and they both involve the Browns. Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland Browns starting quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, is a Pro Bowler. Shedeur Sanders has made the Pro Bowl as an alternate. And honestly, truly, I don't have a lot to say about it, because the Pro Bowl has long been dead, and making the Pro Bowl as an alternate does not mean anything. It does not mean anything. It could not mean less than what it means currently. So Shedeur Sanders getting invited to the Pro Bowl as an alternate, the only thing that means is the guys on the team that actually were named Pro Bowlers didn't want to come. Trevor Lawrence didn't want to go. I don't know who else in the AFC that they would have asked. It would have been guys like Geno Smith. I wonder if they asked Phillip Rivers if he wanted to participate in the Pro Bowl. Because they need the bodies. But again, this came across my timeline. I had to check and make sure that I wasn't getting punked, that I wasn't getting faked out by a fake page. It was verified by multiple sources, and I really don't care. It's not anything positive. I love Shedeur Sanders. I'm a fan of Shedeur Sanders. I want him to be successful in the NFL, but this doesn't mean anything. It almost it's almost worse that he was named to the Pro Bowl as an alternate, because now we were going to start to forget about his performances at the end of the season, but now, since he's in the Pro Bowl, we're going to bring that up. People are going to bring that up, talk about what he did at the end of the season, what he looked like, what his numbers look like. Again, I've gone through it. The Pittsburgh game, I don't think was as bad as people think, but That next game was atrocious, even though he was on the winning side and did help, go down on a game-winning drive to win that game against the Bengals. Again, at some point during this offseason, I'm going to go through all of his games, and we'll talk about it. We'll get a little bit more removed from it, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on the channel. But right now, we're still too close to it. It's been less than a month. It's been about 3 weeks since the regular season ended. I'm not really interested in having the Shedeur Sanders discourse come back to life right now. I've had my feelings about it all season. He was on the field. He did not produce to the level that, like, he simply put, did not produce to the level that he needed to be an unquestioned starter. I think he did produce enough on film for him to have a real shot at starting. Whether you bring in competition, whether you bring in a rookie competition, whether you bring in veteran competition in the form of Malik Willis or somebody of that caliber. We don't have a head coach, which I'm going to talk about, but that's going to play a huge role in it. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't want to get into the Shedeur Sanders discourse at this time. But am I gonna watch him at the Pro Bowl? Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because if it's bad, like if he goes out there and looks bad, like even in an exhibition game that nobody cares about, even if he looks bad, that's just going to be more negative opinion growing on him, and nobody needs that. I think I truly think it would have been a good move for him to just decline the invitation, and once they got past him, I wonder, did they ask Cam Ward before him? Did they ask Justin Fields? Did they ask Riley Leonard? Who all were the guys that they asked to be here? So I wish he would have declined, but he didn't. He'll be in the game, and I'm sure now. I mean, I'm gonna have to talk about it once, when it happens next week, but I'll deal with that when we get to it. The last thing. Again, the Cleveland Browns organization does not have a head coach as I record this. Let me make sure. Let me make sure nobody has been hired. Okay, as I record this, Cleveland Browns don't have a head coach. As I record this on Monday night, earlier today, the Browns flew to LA to have an egregiously long interview process, a second interview with Nate Shieldhouse, the pass game coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. He currently is not the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I thought, along with some other folks that are Cleveland Browns fans on the internet, we thought that we would be hearing by the end of the night that Nate Shieldhouse was going to be the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns, but that is not the case. That is not the case. He immediately after interviewing with the Browns, interviewed over Zoom with the Buffalo Bills for their head coaching position. And I don't think the Bills actually want to hire him, but I'm sure Shieldhouse was happy to interview with them to, increase his leverage with the Browns. The Browns are going to have to make a decision here very quickly. And, if you're hearing that, you're like, okay, they interviewed Shieldhouse. I think they want to hire him, but they're gonna take the night to sleep on it. That's okay, right? Wrong. And you want to know why that's wrong? Because they don't just want to sleep on it. Apparently, according to reporting that I'm seeing on Twitter from Mary Kay Cabot, Jared Mueller, and other people in the know with the Cleveland Browns, that Jimmy Haslam is hell bent on keeping Jim Schwartz a part of this coaching staff. Not only is he hell bent on keeping not only is Jimmy Haslam hell bent on keeping Jim Schwartz on this coaching staff, he also would like Bubba Ventrone, special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone, whom me and all of the Browns fans on the internet want fired. That same Bubba Ventrone, he wants him to also be a part of the staff. Now, he really wants Schwartz to be on the staff, and he just kind of wants Ventrone to be on the staff. If not only does Haslam want Schwartz to be on staff, it seems that he is willing to hire Jim Schwartz as the Cleveland Browns head coach in the big 2026 in order to keep him on the staff, in order to keep him around. And if they were to do this, there would be absolutely no more faith in the Cleveland Browns. Not that they have a lot to begin with, not that they have any, but if they do have even a sliver of hope from this fan base, hiring Jim Schwartz as head coach in the year 2026 would kill it, would eradicate it, would Rhea Ripley stomp on it. So I'm not going to crash out yet. But if they hire Jim Schwartz as head coach, if they keep Bubba Ventrone on the staff, you will be hearing from me accordingly. So, on that note, appreciate you being here. Again, if you're still here, thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And boy, oh boy, what a time it is to be alive and to be a Browns fan. I hope the next time that we speak, it's good news. So, in that case, until the next time, I'll see you.